We have plenty of seats in the front row. It's one of those things you come in a little late to get in the front row. But there should be plenty of seats at our new cafeteria table, so thank you for making yourself at home. We are handing out today an agenda that we'll go through, and my name is Mrs. Houselman, and I'm the principal of Edgewood Middle School. Been here a really long time, and I love it. Great school, great kids, good families, and it's got some terrific traditions, and we're starting some new things too. So we're excited you're here to hear about Edgewood Middle School. This evening you'll have an opportunity to learn a little more about course selections for 7th grade. We handed these sheets out to your students when we came to visit each of our feeder elementaries, and they were given a talk through of what they could pick. Our counselor will talk you through that as well. The course selection handbook is also available on our website, and you can look at any of our courses, course descriptions. Course selection sheets are due by Friday. So as you look forward to it, this meeting is a very timely meeting, and if you have any questions, just so you know, at the bottom of your agenda, you have contact information from me as principal, Mr. Culver as the athletic director, assistant principal, and Mrs. Caller, our counselor. So you can email us anytime, and we're really pretty good at getting back to you as quickly as we can. You'll also have an opportunity to hear tonight from some of our elective teachers. It's their chance to get you familiar with the courses they teach and encourage you to encourage your child to sign up for these classes. You'll hear a little bit about our expectations, just some basic things we expect. I'll talk to you a little bit about academics and what we expect there. We have clubs, we have sports we're going to talk about tonight. The PPE, our Parents as Partners in Education, will also talk to you because we really do encourage parents to be part of our school. I know they're going into middle school and they think they maybe don't need parents as much as they did in elementary. They still need you, and so do we. So I hope you'll consider PPE. At the end, you'll have a chance for questions, and we hope to have the answers. And then you'll get a chance to also walk around and talk to some of the teachers that are here if you have further questions for the courses they teach. So, a couple basic things about Edgewood. One of my favorite things is this year, the U.S. News and World Report reported that we are in the top 10% of all middle schools in the state of Indiana. I think that's pretty good. Actually, we're in the top 9.6% technically, but that's good. And what that means is, what they do is they take all of the public schools and they rank us based on how we're doing academically, is what it really is about. How our attendance rates among others, and then they give us a rating, and that rating came back very favorably, and we were right in there competing with people that we want to compete with, that we want our kids to be able to compete with, some of the best and the brightest in the state. So, we didn't get to get the banner, which I wanted to get, which would have gone in front of the whole school, but it's still the truth, and it's a good thing, and I'm expecting us to continue with that tradition of excellence at all times here at Edgewood. I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Caller, and she'll talk you through your course selection sheet.
Hello, my name is Kristen Holler. This is my first year as a counselor here at Edgewood, and I am really looking forward to getting your kiddos all set up with their schedules for next year. So when we went to the elementaries, we handed out a piece of paper that looks like this. If it somehow did not make its way to you, that is totally fine. I have extra ones printed tonight, and while we talk through it, maybe just take little notes on your phone. If you have a question, you can email me about it later. So in our top little section, we have required classes for every student. So your child will take a year of math, language arts, science, and social studies. They are required to take at least a semester of PE and reading and literature. And so with those core content classes, math, language arts, and science, those are based on iLearn and NWEA scores. So your student's placement in an advanced class or supported class depends on those scores. So maybe just encouraging your child to take those tests seriously as we come into the spring, and they will be placed in an appropriate level when they get here to middle school. Moving down in the paper, we have full year electives, band, choir, and strings. And some of those teachers are here this evening, so you'll get to hear a little bit more about those classes. And then at the very bottom of this course selection sheet, we have all of our electives. And you might notice that we have a very diverse classes that students can pick from, and those are just to kind of expose them to different fields that they might be interested in. They could really grow in different areas. We have art classes, family and consumer science classes, STEM classes, and language classes. So at the bottom of that, where those are all listed, I would need every kiddo to rank them with a parent. So not just putting check marks by the ones that you prefer, but ranking them. So the one that your kid wants most, put a number 1, and rank through the whole list. And we will try to get them their preferred classes. It doesn't always work out exactly the way we want it, but we try to do our best. So like Mrs. Houselman said, there's a description of each of those electives and our required classes online. I actually have some handbooks that if you want to flip through for this evening, you can come find me and I can hand you a handbook. And I'm going to turn it over to some of our electives so they can give you a little bit more detail about those classes. Thanks.
And again, you can ask us questions at the end. Just so you know, we are recording this meeting today so that parents that are not able to be here can watch our video.
It'll be on Edgewood Live. It's YouTube.
Edgewood Live, YouTube. So if you have people that said, oh, you need to know, they can still hear what you heard tonight. And if you think, did they say that? You can go back and look at it yourself and see the repeat, the rewind. All right, we're going to turn it over to some elective teachers. I think, Mrs. Nealman, are you presenting for band and strings? All right.
Hi, my name is Angela Nealman, and I teach the strings, also known as orchestra class here, and I'm also representing Mr. Joe Pelosa, who teaches the band classes. So band and orchestra are very similar. The main difference is I teach all the string instruments, violin, viola, cello, bass, and in band you get all the woodwind, brass, and percussion instruments. So everything from here on out will apply to both band and orchestra. You might have already heard from your students. Mr. Pelosa and myself, we visited 6th grade classrooms the past month or so just to talk about our classes. So some of the things we talked about, and maybe to refresh your memory, or if this is brand new to you, it is a full year elective, like you already heard. And your student will still have room in their schedule for more electives on top of that, because there's a lot of great classes you can try. So with your full year elective, you still can have sometimes a class that changes every quarter. So you get 4 choices there, and then in your 8th grade year too, you can still take band, orchestra, or choir and still have 4 more electives. So that's a lot of great opportunities there. Some of the most important questions we get, one, if I didn't participate in 6th grade band and orchestra, can I still join in 7th grade? And the answer is yes, definitely. We have a lot of students that join us in 7th grade and continue on into 8th grade and then through their high school years. So 7th grade is a great time to join a music class, and choir as well fits into that. Can you participate in a music class and also other activities before or after school? Yes. Band, orchestra, and choir all take place during the school day, so that's when we learn our music, work together, and after school, you'll have plenty of time for sports or other things that you might enjoy. And a big question for strings and band, how do you even know what instrument is right for you? Well, good news is on Tuesday, April 19, right here at Edgewood, students will have the opportunity to try every single instrument. And it's completely free. And it only takes maybe 15 or 20 minutes total. And you will be amazed at what kinds of sounds and music students can make after a very short amount of time. So once students try out all the instruments, then that really gives you a clear picture of what might be a good fit for them during their 7th grade year. So keep an ear out, look for emails from Jay Pelosa at warsawschools.com. He's usually the one that sends out information about this instrument fitting night, as it will be called. So keep an eye out for that on April 19th. Come try an instrument. That'll really tell you if you want to try band or orchestra or not. So come try an instrument and then take a music class. Last thing, I have papers if you want any more of those details written
Bartman. She is our agriculture teacher.
Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. Bartman. I teach agriculture here at Edgewood, and then I also teach over at the high school. As incoming 7th graders, you have 2 classes you can take with me. One is Exploring Ag A, and the other is Exploring Ag B, so super simple names. They're both 9-week courses. These courses are nice because they're very set in stone on what we do, so you can take them in any order you want. So for Exploring Ag A, we usually talk about what is agriculture, what are some careers in that area, and then we talk about natural resources, and we talk about food science and how our food goes from the farm all the way to your plate at home, and all those steps and processes in between. And then usually we make ice cream if we have time, so that's always a fun thing. And then Exploring Ag B, this one is, we have 3 main things we talk about. We talk about soil science, then we talk about plant science, so we talk about different terms. We look at anatomy, we do some plant ID stuff. And then we talk about animal science, which is everybody's favorite. So we usually spend about 5 weeks on that. So we talk about different breeds, different terms, all that good stuff. And then as an 8th grader, you guys can take Intro to Ag. That is a full year course. So it'll take up a whole year of your elective. We also have room for other ones. And that is for high school credit, so we just get to go a little bit more in depth with that. And I also brought over in the corner a few awesome FFA members. So as a 7th and 8th grader, since Ag is offered to you, you can join FFA, which is an intercurricular kind of extracurricular activity. They kind of go hand in hand. So if you have any questions, we'll be over there. And we have some handouts and all that good stuff. Thank you.
I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Ford.
Good evening. I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences teacher, and we call that FACS for short. We offer here at Edgewood 3 classes: Everyday Skills, Successful Living, and Stitch and Save. They are all 3 classes are each 9 weeks long. They're open both to boys and girls, and both 7th and 8th graders can take them. They can be taken in any order. So if you take it in 7th grade, great. If you don't get something you want in 7th grade, there's always 8th grade. I tease the students and tell them, you as parents don't want them still living with you at age 45 and mooching food out of your refrigerator. So that's why classes in FACS department are important. These classes are designed to help your teenager become independent and self-sufficient. In Everyday Skills class, we learn about child development and child care, nutrition, including sorting foods into the Choose My Plate food groups and learning about nutrients, food safety and sanitation, reading a recipe, measuring ingredients, and of course the students always love cooking labs. In Successful Living class, we learn about interpersonal relations, conflict management, kitchen math and measuring, table setting and table manners, food safety and sanitation, and again, the kids really love cooking labs. In Stitch and Save class, we learn about clothing care, including sewing on a button, hand stitching to make repairs to your clothes, and some laundry basics. We do quite a bit of sewing on our project. I want the kids to be able to thread a needle, tie a knot, and feel confident they can do something to fix their clothes. There's some money management in that course, and there's a little bit of food preparation, not nearly as many cooking labs. Now that I told you all that, I'm retiring at the end of this year. We are actively seeking a teacher to replace me, so if you know anyone in FACS education, let them know. I will be standing over by my display over there after this meeting, so I'll be happy to talk with you. But no matter where your child goes in life, no matter what career they have, they need FACS education because it helps them stay alive. It helps them take care of their families too. Thank you.
She's been here a lot of years, so thank you for having her on. Great lady, good teacher. But her classes are very popular. Don't worry, we'll find a good teacher. We'll keep keep looking. Got a couple good leads. We'll get there. All right, I'm going to turn over to Mrs. Lipton. She is our French teacher.
Bonsoir and bienvenue. I'm Sarah Lipscomb. I'm a French teacher here at Edgewood. I also teach over at the high school. I'm here in the morning and I teach the Exploratory French class. It is kind of a taste of French 1. The hope is your child takes Exploring French and they'll take that as a 7th grader and then take French 1 as an 8th grader. The purpose of taking French 1, or the idea of taking French 1 as an 8th grader, kind of gets them ahead of schedule to the language department for high school and preps them for a 5-year plan. But back to Exploring French, it's a 9-week course, and it's just a taste of French, so they're learning the basics, the alphabet, numbers. We go into hellos and goodbyes. We have a few projects. My kids just finished up a music project. Right now they're working on a monument project, so they had to research a French monument. They don't know this tomorrow. They're doing like a nailed it competition, so they have to build the monument out of food and try to best replicate it. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so the idea of Exploring French is to be fun and to give them a taste of French, of what's to come in French 1. Thank you.
Well, unfortunately, a couple of our teachers were not able to make it here this evening. They're on your agenda. I definitely would encourage you to look at our Project Lead the Way courses, and one of the reasons I asked you to look at those is Edgewood is moving towards STEM accreditation to be a middle school that has full STEM accreditation. We're in the process of developing our project-based learning units. You're going to see some nice cross-curricular pieces where we're going to link the curriculum together through our STEM and project-based learning. So that is something of interest to you. Definitely check out Project Lead the Way. And computer classes, some of them, including like App Creator, are incredibly challenging, but the students can do it and they do very well. So I encourage you to look at those courses as well. Turn it over to Mr. Colbert.
Welcome. Had a great opportunity last week to visit all of our elementary schools and meet the incoming 6th grade class, and I was very impressed with that first impression, and I told them first impressions mean a lot, and so very excited about the upcoming school year and getting to have your children in our building full time. That said, I want to go over some of our expectations that we have here at Edgewood. As I explained to your students, middle school is different. There are a lot of changes. There are a lot more freedoms that your child will have here. And I asked every group that we visited, I said, with freedom comes what? And they were all able to nail it, and they all said, more responsibility. And that is exactly what is taking place here at Edgewood. They're offered the opportunity for more responsibility, but they are also held to a higher expectation, and we hold them accountable. And so I just want to quickly go over some of the things I went over with them in terms of our expectations. And these are some of those main areas that we see that we have a need for your support and your help at home in reinforcing this so that they have a successful opportunity here at Edgewood. The first thing I want to mention is attendance. In order for them to get the very best education that they can possibly get, we need them here at school. We need them in the classroom with that teacher, having that face-to-face education. We obviously understand that there are illnesses and sicknesses and things where they're going to have to miss. We get that. You are allotted 7 parent excuse days in the first semester and in the second semester, which can cover all of those. After those days are used up, and Mrs. Sellers, who works with all of our attendants here at Edgewood, she'll be communicating with you on a regular basis if your child is absent, letting you know where you're at. But after those 7 days, they go to unexcused absences. And we keep track of all of this. Once you hit unexcused absences, you could see consequences for your child. So it's important if you're taking them to the doctor that you have those medical notes and that you bring them in to us. All right? Because that's how we're able to excuse any of those days past those parent excuse days. So attendance is of the utmost importance. Tied in with that would be tardies. While your student is here, they're going to have that freedom to walk through the halls on their own when the bell rings. They're not going to have a teacher taking them from class to class. It's their responsibility to get to class on time when the bell rings. And we hold them accountable for that. We keep track of all of that. We have conversations daily with students that are late to class. Consequences get put in place. And I try to stress that to all the elementaries, that we have consequences for just about everything that takes place, because we want them to become more responsible. We need to get them ready for the high school, and in turn to become adults and go out on their own. So if you could back those things up at home, helping get them here on time, if you drop them off, our doors open at 7:30, which is 20 minutes before the bell rings to start class. You can start dropping them off. The kids all congregate out there, especially when it's nicer, out front of the building. They talk. Once those doors open, they come in, give them 20 minutes to get their breakfast and get to class. I will tell you, the parent pickup line, the parent drop-off line does back up. So please take that into consideration when you're dropping them off. If you're planning to get here 5 minutes before the bell rings, I can tell you right now they're going to be tardy to first period. Okay? So I would just plan on getting them here, I would say no later than 15 minutes before that first bell rings. That way you can ensure that they get in here. And teachers have things going on in their classrooms that they can work on work, free time to watch some maybe videos. I know we've got a teacher that, what's the YouTube? Some of you guys, young ones, the dudes that throw the baskets. Dude Perfect, yeah. So, Dude Perfect. Some of our teachers will play some of those things before the school day starts. So it's an opportunity to get in there, talk with your friends, have some downtime before the day starts. IDs, all right? Each student will receive an ID. We ask that they keep that on their lanyard and around their neck. First one we give to them on their first day. If they lose that, they will have to purchase a new one. The ID itself is $4. The new lanyard is $1, so that's $5. So I would start having that conversation with your child about how they're going to earn that money if they lose that ID. All the secondary schools here in Warsaw require that you have that ID. It's for safety purposes. It's for lunch. That's what they use. They scan to get their lunch. It is a must. It needs to be on and around their necks. All right? iPads. You've already got experience with the iPads. Those need to be here at school. That is their textbook. If they do not have their iPad here at school, it is very difficult for them to keep up with the work that is being assigned or the research that's being done. So please make sure they have their iPad here every day and make sure that it's fully charged. If they're having trouble with their iPad, with it staying charged or just technical difficulties, we have Mr. McCollum, who's in our building full-time, just focuses on our tech stuff. He can help them with that. They just need to ask for help, and he'll help them with it. Cell phones. Here at Edgewood, we are pretty tight on the cell phones. We ask that when they enter the building, the cell phones get turned off and they get put away. All right? That is to minimize distractions while they're here in the building. They have their iPad, so they don't need any other electronic device. If there's a situation where you need to get a hold of them or they need to get a hold of you, they can come to the front office, make a phone call. You can call the front office, and we can have them in contact with you in a matter of minutes. But we do ask that those cell phones stay off and put away. So again, if you can help us with that piece as well, we would really appreciate that. With that, earbuds. We're making a slight change as we move into next year with earbuds. We're having difficulties with the Bluetooth side of this. We're finding students are connecting to different things that they shouldn't be connecting to, and it is causing some disruption. So we are asking that if your child brings earbuds, that they are the wired earbuds that plug in to their iPad. All right? Again, they cannot connect to their phones because their phones are often put away. But they do need to be wired. Some of our classes use them for different academic purposes, and some of them don't. So the teachers will give them that permission, tell them when they can and cannot use those. But we are asking for the wired earbuds if you send them to school with earbuds. And then finally, dress code. This is a piece just to help us out when your child leaves in the morning, if you're home, just make sure that they're dressed modestly. We're trying to eliminate any distractions that could be in the building with the really high holes in the jeans, making sure that no undergarments are being shown. If those things are present, we will have a conversation with them and probably a phone call home to you just to ask if they have any other clothes that can be brought in. But that can all be eliminated if you guys help us out at home by making sure that your child knows what would be appropriate to wear here at school and what would not. Again, those are the things I went over with the kids. Our first priority is the safety of students and giving them a quality education. In order to do that, we need those things to take place, and we really need your support. So thank you in advance for that.
Okay, so you've heard all of kind of our basic rules. However, I want to show you we also have some fun. We did find during a couple of years of COVID that we did not have any fun. I don't know about you, but we did not have any fun. And so what we did at the very end of the last year, which was last year, we decided to throw the kids a big party. Well, the kids had such a good time. We brought in some food trucks, we had music, we celebrated, and we decided, you know, maybe it's time to have a little more fun now. So we now have a party every quarter. At the end of the first quarter, it's a small party. Second quarter, a little bit bigger party. Third quarter, a little bit bigger party. And by the fourth quarter, like this time, for fourth quarter, they will have 5 food trucks. And at first I thought, I just had lunch. And they eat out of everything. And I bet you know that from your house too. They ate everything the food trucks brought and more. But I will always tell you, I'll send you a weekly newsletter. I'll tell you what's going on here at school. I'll tell you what's coming up. I'll send you the prices so you know what's on the food trucks. And if they make great choices, do good things, they can earn Edgewood bucks. And we spend them like real money. And so save them up. You can go get yourself a sushi roll. And I didn't think they'd eat sushi, but they do. And so I learned a lot the first time I did food trucks, thinking they will not eat them. They will eat them. You probably know that. They probably eat everything. But I want you to know we do have some fun too. We also, each week, have a small celebration for kids who are doing their work, getting their schoolwork finished, doing well. As long as you're passing your classes, we take a little bit of a break. Maybe it's a dodgeball tournament. Maybe it's board games. Maybe it's getting to play some video games. The kids are telling us what kinds of things motivate them. And so we do celebrate every week. Just do your job, do your best, and we'll take some time out to have a little fun. Our academic expectations are student first. We do want students to do their work every day. We're going for an incentive right now because e-learning is a bit of a challenge. Getting middle schoolers to do e-learning, we've discovered, is a bigger challenge. And so what we did this last time is if you did all your e-learning assignments by last night, midnight, your name goes into a drawing, and you win prizes in Edgewood bucks. So we're hoping just to, if you do the right things, we reward you. And we don't mean to think it's all consequence. There's a lot of good things that happen too. Academically, we do expect students to turn their work on time. We have a 48-hour grace period, but they have 2 more school days to get work turned in and still get full credit. We do have a grading system where the practice stuff, the little problems, are worth 20% of their grade. The big things they do, like major tests, projects, labs, are worth 80%. So they really want to build up and be ready for those big pieces. But here's a good part. Maybe you took a test and you didn't do so well. At Edgewood, we let you make corrections and retake tests. If maybe you just didn't get it yet. So if you look at your child who didn't do so well on a test, you go, oh, wow, that's going to slam your grade. No, it's not. Get a chance to make corrections and practice and take the test again. And so we're going to make sure that they learn the material is the most important thing, but then also making sure that they master the material so they really have those skill sets they need as they go up into additional more advanced courses. So academically, we do want your child to have an incredibly great education. We do have some fun, and we want you to know we reward them for making good choices, and our expectation is to get a good balance between having a good time, learning the material we need to learn, and one of the big things we do here at Edgewood is we are known for philanthropy. You may have heard about the Edgewood Canned Food Drive, which feeds the community for the winter. It's that big a deal. We want kids to learn empathy and how to care for others. We have an Edgewood Cares Club that will raise money for local charities, constantly helping middle school kids who can be a little myopic sometimes. The world's all about me. And we want them to realize there's a really big world all around them, and we can be a contributor and a helper for going to turn it now over to Mr. Culver about other clubs and sports, and then we'll go to the PPE.
In addition to what Mrs. Houseman was saying about her newsletter, when you go to register your child, please make sure that you update your information in terms of your email address and phone number. That is how you receive all the communication from the school. If that's not accurate, you're not going to get any of that communication. So again, phone number and email are the two most important things in order to receive the communication that we're trying to get out there. Clubs and sports. Here at Edgewood, we are student first, athlete second. All right, I made that very clear to all the 6th grade classes that we visited. We take academics very serious here, and we want the students to get the very best education, as we've said before. Therefore, we have a lot of opportunities for athletics, but the kids are held responsible in the classroom first and foremost. And we do have an academic policy that we have in place here at Edgewood that does not remove your child from the team. So if they make the team or if they go out for one of those teams that is not a cut sport and they're on that team, they will never be removed for academics, but they may not be able to participate from time to time if they're struggling with their academics. And then we provide opportunities for them to get caught up on work or to get that extra help. All right, we want them to be a part of the athletics, but we want them to understand that they've got to get the job done in the classroom first. So just to give you an idea of the sports that we have here at Edgewood, in the fall, we have football, we have volleyball, we have cross country, and we have cheer. Okay? Volleyball and cheer are the two cut sports. That means that students have to try out for those. Then football and cross country are not cut sports. So anybody that goes out for those, they're on the team. All right? In the winter, we have boys and girls basketball, and we have wrestling as well as cheer. Boys and girls basketball, and again, cheer. Those are cut sports. Wrestling, anyone that goes out is on the team. And then in the spring, we have boys and girls soccer, and we have track. Soccer is a cut sport. Track is not. All right? So there are several opportunities athletically to get involved. And I would encourage any student that wants to try out for a team or be a part of a team to go for it. All right, you never know unless you try. And the opportunity that you have to meet new people will help them while they're in our building. All right, building those relationships, those positive relationships, having those mentors that are coaches, instilling those values in our athletes is huge. So I would highly encourage that if your child's interested in that. If they don't want to be a part of our athletic teams, we have several clubs. I have a list of clubs. We're not doing all of them right now, but as I told the kids when we visited, clubs are based on the students that want to do them. So from year to year they change because the interest of the students change. So here are some of the clubs that we either have in place now or have done in the past. Chess club, game club, drama club, fellowship of Christian students, tennis club, golf club, National Junior Honor Society, Principals Advisory Council, which is a really cool club where you get to meet with Mrs. Houseman and myself, and you get to help come up with things that the students might want here in the building. Robotics, Manufacturing Club, Running Club, Minecraft, Spell Bowl, Geography Bee, academic teams. We've got our Edgewood Cares. We've had speech clubs, student ambassadors. There's rugby, all right? All kinds of ways for your child to get involved. And again, that's an opportunity for them to meet other students. And one of the things that is interesting about middle school is you have several schools coming together. So there are a lot of kids that are going to be in this building that they may not know when they get here. But they will have the opportunity to meet them and develop those relationships and friendships. The last thing I want to say is Edgewood for athletics. We are responsible for concessions, so if your child is participating in athletics, the only way that we're able to run our concession stand is by parent volunteers for game nights, so please consider that when you are approached at the beginning of the season with that opportunity. All of that money goes right back into our athletic department for getting new uniforms, whatever it may be, banners to go up in the gym. All of that is supported that way, so please keep that in mind. Thank you.
Okay, as I told you, I've got two wonderful moms here. who are part of our Parents as Partners in Education. And again, they're going to give you a way that you can sign up. And sometimes you might be a volunteer just to bring things in, provide things, but sometimes we meet about once a month. We sit down together. We get to hear what you're thinking as parents. So I am so thankful these two ladies are here tonight to talk to you about Edgewood's PPE.
Hi, I'm Jolene. And I'm Becky. And we're both part of Edgewood's PPE. For those of you that don't know, which I didn't when I was in your shoes last year as a 7th grade mom, PPE stands for Parents as Partners in Education. It's basically our version of PTO. The Edgewood PPE pours into the students, staff, and students to give everyone the best opportunity to succeed. We are so thankful for our staff here at EMS. We know that by supporting their needs as staff, we are helping support our students' needs. They coincide, so we're supporting our staff and supporting our students at the same time. Every year, the PPE uses items like teachers' allotments, concessions for parties, and even 2 scholarships for Edgewood alumni that are now seniors. We have lots of opportunities for EMS parents to help make the year better for all at Edgewood. So we are looking for officers to fill the roles of the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and volunteer coordinator for next year's committee. Meetings take place about once a month. They last about an hour during the school year, and they're short, quick, to the point. If you can help out, we would love to have you on board. Mr. Colbert was talking about the fact that they've taken over concessions. So in previous years, if you were on the committee, you had an obligation to volunteer for concessions a number of times a week. That's now off of our backs, so the commitment is a lot less. Yeah, so that's what that next thing is. Also, on the volunteering part, don't worry if you cannot be an officer. If you can't fulfill an officer role, we can still use your help. There are plenty of ways to help volunteer and support the staff and the students here at Edgewood. As you heard earlier, with all those celebrations, we help and support, help with the food trucks and things like that. As parents, you are welcome and encouraged to come to the PPE meetings, whether you're on serve as an officer or not. And it helps you stay in the know of what's going on with your kids and the school. It's very informative. I just based on that, I walk out with a wealth of knowledge every month of information of what's going on here at Edgewood.
I think it really gets you excited to see the new things that are coming as well. You can connect with us by liking us on Facebook. It's under Edgewood PPE. You can also email us at edgewoodppe@gmail.com, and then just in the subject line say sign up or add me or something like that, and we'll get you added to the list.
We look forward to having another amazing, awesome year next year with you and your new tiger. Hope you will find ways to be part of our team and volunteer and stay in the know with us.
Thank you. And I do think that they do a great job. So thank you to all parents who will help us out. All right, this is the time of the evening we get a chance for questions and answers. I know it's a little bit of a large crowd, so someone has to be very brave. Go first. Hey, yes.
Will there be a hockey club next year?
Hockey.
Will they rink in my little lake?
Oh, that's a great, I know they are. And it's going to be really cool. And you know what? That has possibilities. Here's how you make your own club. You have to get 15 people, 15 Edgewood students who would be interested in playing hockey. Then you have to find a teacher who would be interested in sponsoring hockey. And then you can put together a hockey club. This year, a group of students came to me, they wanted a sign language club. Well, we didn't have one. I said, give me 15 students. They did. They found a sponsor. We have a sign language club. We have a Minecraft club. You tell us what you like. You get 15 kids that want to do it. And you can start a club. Yes?
When I went to this room, I was asking myself where's the cafeteria, and it was right there. So I'm curious, do you go to
Good question. So what do you do for lunch? That's really an important time of the day, just so you know. What we do right away, we have 4 different quarters. You get to pick your table once each quarter. And you pick wisely. And you get to stay in your table for the whole quarter. And then what we do is we actually have sections in this cafeteria. We'll teach you what those are. And we dismiss you to go get your food by section. Otherwise, can you imagine 300 people running for the door for the food? We would, chaos. So, it's all organized. There's a bit of a seating chart. Once you sit down, you lock in. You're guaranteed that spot every day so nobody comes in and doesn't have somewhere to sit. But you go through the line, you get your food, you come out, you sit down, got plenty of time to eat. If the weather's nice, we do go outside for the last 10 minutes of lunch, get some fresh air. You don't have to go outside. So stay inside, that's fine. And so the cafeteria will be set up the same way every day. And you know where your table is, you know where your seat is, and then you can choose each quarter if you would like to move. Yes?
You can do PE like throughout the whole year, but can you like, at Madison, like we have different like schedules like each day of the week.
If you took PE for the whole year, you would have PE all but one day of the week. We have this strange schedule, 7 period days, Monday, Tuesday, Friday. Odd block on Wednesday, periods 1, 3, 5, 7. Even block on Thursday, 2, 4, 6. And we throw all those new schedules at you at the very beginning. But when we're talking about tardies, don't worry. We'll be in the hallways to get into the class, and there's always a grace period. And it's usually our 8th graders that can't find their way around after a couple weeks. So the 7th graders get it a lot faster. So it will be okay. Yes, yes.
The instrument bidding on April 19th, if our student doesn't sign up for it by Friday, but they choose to go to the April 19th instrument and want to join, is there a way to get them into it if they haven't picked it?
Absolutely. A student can join band or strings or choir up until we start school. You can continue to join choir later just because you don't have to have an instrument. We just have to have enough time to get the instrument to the child so they can be in the band. But yes, it's not too late to sign up.
Thank you.
Yes?
On the instrument, sorry, do you guys provide it, or do we have to own it, or rent it, or?
Great question. Mr. Pelosi and I have suggestions for renting instruments just because usually that's the best way to make sure you get a quality instrument, something that will survive the year of a new student learning how to play it, make music on it. So we have recommendations for that and how to set that up. That's really what that April 19 day is also about, like talking through those options, see what will work for your family. But we really do want students to participate if they're interested, so we can help if you need to talk about some other options.
Yes?
Mr. Colbert mentioned that the doors open at 7:30, class starts at 7:50. When does the last class end, and when do the buses normally roll?
Last class ends at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I will have buses out of here by 3:05 almost every day. So it's a quick end of the day. If kids are staying after school, they stay in the building. Once they get in the building in the morning, we do ask them to get your breakfast and go directly to class. We don't just kind of hang out and create havoc. We go to class, and then we have a chance to relax, get our schoolwork done, and get ready for the day. So, door opens 7:30, classes start at 7:50. End of the day, classes I will do end of day announcements, 2:55. 3 o'clock, class dismisses, and we are done for the day. Yes?
When do the clubs normally meet?
Most of the clubs will meet after school. However, I do my principal's advisory during the day because I want a very inclusive group, and I don't want kids who can't stay after school or come early not to have a chance to be in the council. But most of them will be after school. They have different schedules. Like manufacturing club typically meets more often when they're actually manufacturing something. We have a little mini t-shirt creation station. We made all the shirts for Warsaw schools this year. We have robotics. It's meeting 2-3 days a week right now because they're getting ready for competition. Chess will sometimes meet once a week for a while, but we get ready to go to tournaments. Mostly it is after school. Usually all of our practices and clubs finish around 4 or 5 p.m. Yes?
Like for a club, what if you need like equipment? Can you get that from the school, or do you have to buy yourself?
Most of our clubs have not required equipment, but like if you want to go to robotics, we provide you the robot stuff. sounds tough. Yes.
Go ahead. How do you talk? What time can you talk to people? Like, can you just talk to people? Like sometimes.
Good question. When can you talk to people? Like, it seems like a lot. They really do. You have passing periods, so every time you're in class, you got about a 48 to 50-minute class. You got 4 minutes in the halls to walk and talk. When it sits down for lunch, you get 5 minutes to get to lunch, 30 minutes at lunch, and 5 minutes to get back to class. 40 minutes of time to talk with friends. After school, kids will typically hang out. I'll say buses are leaving, and then out the door we go. Out front when they're waiting for parent pickup, there's lots of time to see your friends. Yes.
If you're in a club with, like, I know people like lead the club, like if you have a club of 15 and like 6 of them, you still like lead the club.
Once we commit to a club, we'll help you stay with it for the whole year, or the period of time you know it was agreed to. Yes.
So, this is a very big transition for kids. It's equally exciting and scary and challenging. For me personally, because I've never had a middle schooler per se, and in my country, we don't really change school, we just go on through. Are there any options or anything that you're offering for kids who may suffer from social anxiety or, something that you cannot necessarily pinpoint at first sight, but it's visible?
Correct. Well, we do a couple things. First of all, we'll bring all the 6th graders out here from our feeder elementaries, and we'll give them a tour of the building and help them to see it for the first time, walk around it, and realize it's actually a pretty small building. It kind of looks big, but it really is just like a big box. And then there's a few classes on this side. So they'll realize, oh, it's not that hard. The other thing we do is I open the building 2 weeks before school starts. It will be open from 7:30 to 3 every day, Monday through Friday, and you can come in at any time, walk your schedule. We used to offer lockers right off the bat, but we found the kids would rather carry a backpack, and so about 50 out of 600 kids actually ask for lockers, and they'll get a locker if they want one, but they don't have to have one. That takes one piece of anxiety out. However, you can walk through the building, you can walk through your schedule. We also, our counselor offers small groups. Some of it is for kids that are struggling with social anxiety. Sometimes it's harder to make friends. Sometimes they need a little extra help and encouragement. So we're offering small groups as well. You would be not contacted as a parent, and you have to get permission for your child to participate in one of our small groups, but that is also available. Any student that needs help, they can ask to see the counselor, our school resource officer, Roy Navarro, me, or Mr. Culver, anytime. And if they tell us it's important, we will stop everything and meet with those children. All they have to do is come to the front office. Kids will email me, can you talk to me, can you call me down? And they're welcome to email me as well.
I'd just like to add to that. That is one of the things that we see. So as a parent, when kids get into middle school, they typically don't want to talk about their feelings out front. So if that's something that you see as a parent, please let us know as well, just in case your child has not, because we can put all of those things into place, and we've got other things that we can talk with you about that we can offer during the school day. But the communication piece is difficult with middle school students, as I'm sure you're finding out. So please let us know if you have those concerns so we can work directly with you.
Okay, any other question? Yep, go ahead.
Do you have to use a locker? Do you carry your own?
The good question was, actually we learned this one. We used to not allow book bags because of all these concerns we had about book bags. We found lockers aren't much better. So pick your battle. And so most kids have chosen book bags. We will actually send you a questionnaire, do you want a locker? Sometimes at the beginning of the year you may say, no, I'll just carry my stuff. Well, then winter comes and you might have a winter coat. We'll ask you again, do you want a locker? And at any time, we can assign you a locker. But you do not have to take one. It does make it faster in the hallways. And opening those lockers was always a stressful thing for people, and you don't have to worry about that. Yes? No, you do not. We do ask that you don't bring backpacks that are on wheels. We have that little luggage things going around, but it doesn't work very well with 600 people in the hallway. So no wheels, but it does not have to fit in your locker. One thing I would encourage you to do, if this is your first time middle schooler, and I forgot to tell you, take a picture of your child now, and then take a picture of your child when they finish 8th grade. And it happens every year. Kids come in, they're shorter than me, about my height. 9 times out of 10, they accept taller than me. Our halls look so much more crowded, but we didn't add a bunch more students. We just got a lot bigger. And so I just want to encourage you, these 2 years are one of the biggest growth spurts your kids are going to go through, and it goes fast. So I know it's a little scary, and I know it's a new road, but we're on that journey with you, and we'll help you any way we can. Any other questions?
What's your average class size?
The average class size depends on the class. Try to keep it around 22-to-1 ratio. If I'm working on classes where they need extra help and support, I actually have a couple of math classes I run right now with 2 math teachers and 10 to 12 students, because we're going to get that level of intense help. But most of the classes are not that big. Now sometimes, like a band class might get to be 40, but that's a band. And then we even split some of that out into sectionals. So trying to keep it as personable as possible. Most of the time, no more than a 22-to-1 ratio. I can't, go ahead.
Do you have different teachers throughout the school year, like in elementary school?
Well, you have different teachers. Well, you'll have, for sure, at the beginning of the year, 7 different teachers. Now, you'll also have an SRT teacher. Maybe some of you already have, or you don't have. So you get a lot of teachers in a year. Then you change to the next 9 weeks, you might have some more new teachers. By the time you leave here, you've had the opportunity to work with almost all of our teachers. Anything else? You know, I am so excited. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, thank you. That is a good idea. In fact, I meant to fix the sign today. We have a Trey Davis Pay It Forward Award, and it is given to a student each year because there was an 8th grade student at the end of all the COVID time, was one of the first kids that ever turned around and gave an award back to the school, a thank you. I thought, why don't you tell us thank you? This has been the hardest 2 years. You didn't get to do all the fun things. You didn't get to have all those parties, and we didn't get to do a dance, and we were all scared to death half the time. And he turned around and said, thank you for all you did. And he actually bought the tiger and donated it to the school. So, what we did in his honors, we named the Trey Davis Pay It Forward Award, and we're looking for kids who look outside and do something to make our school better, to help others, things that stand out to us. Like this year, I actually know kind of who I think is going to get that award, and I can't say who it is because then I'm going to be a surprise. However, I'm looking for people that actually just gave of themselves. There's a young lady every day. She stands there, she holds the door. I'm always the last one that comes in off the buses, and she never closes the door until I'm in. And she didn't have to do that. She could come in and be with her friends, come to breakfast, go hang out. But she always makes sure every kid got in the building, and she makes sure that I get in too. And I just have to say, that kind of stuff, simple, but it's kind. And it's like just that kindness and empathy. And when Trey gave us the tiger, he will be back actually this year to give the first recipients their award. And they will get the Trey Davis Pay It Forward Award. So kids do make a difference. Anything else? All right, I do have some elected teachers that have some things on display. You're welcome to come ask them questions, see their displays. If you have any questions of us, please feel free to let us know. Again, thank you so much for coming this evening. Wonderful crowd, thank you.
that's what I'm going to say. We'll just make sure you communicate about how you're feeling, what you're doing, because we have a lot of different things we do for students here in terms of altering passing periods, passing period, letting them meet somewhere else in the world. So again, that's the potential for that. So we'll make things happen when they need to happen. Good, buddy. How you doing? Good year? What's your name? Keenan. All right. Yeah. Good. I'm sure if I saw the face, I would. Okay. Yeah, well, tell them all I said hello. It's so hard to change your name, but yeah, when I see people. So I appreciate it. Yeah, well, thank you. Do my best. Have you kept in touch with them since you've gone to Ohio? Yeah. I think I've talked to him maybe once this year since he's gone. Yeah. I'm assuming he was your principal then. Why is it so? Yeah. I'm gonna be in that email, but I give him a hard time. Come on, I've answered them. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Good stuff. No, they're gonna do that tomorrow morning, but thank you. Okay, good to see you, buddy. Good luck, man. Appreciate it.